let's get started. So welcome to the webinar today, guys, expanding HPC in the cloud to the Nordics. My name is Cameron Fillmore, and I'm the manager of global channel partnerships here at Rescale. I'll be your host of the webinar today. Joining me all the way from Norway is a fellow partner of ours and a good friend, Frode Halvorsen. He is the VP of Innovation over at EDRMedeso. Frode, why don't you say hi to everybody?
Hello, everybody.
How you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Great. Yeah. We've done a couple of these webinars actually before, and typically when we do these webinars, they're technical presentations with a ton of slides, etc. But today I thought it would be fun to have a Q&A discussion with Frode and myself. So just to get things kicked off, for those of you who don't know who Rescale is or what Rescale is, we are the leader in HPC in the cloud. Frode, why don't you give us a quick background of yourself as well as what EDRMedeso does as a company?
Yep, happy to do that. So I'm working as the VP of Technology Innovation in EDRMedeso. EDRMedeso is a company that has been supplying simulation software to the Nordic market for about 30 years. ANSYS is our long-term main partner in that domain. And my background is that I've been working in a simulation world for about 20 years. Actually started right across the bay from university over in Berkeley.
And you have a PhD, right?
Yeah, I have a PhD in simulation technology. So I've been working with kind of a different range of applications from within simulations for the last 20 years.
Perfect. And are those applications primarily in what realm? We talking computational fluid dynamics, finite element analysis? What types of application do you typically work in?
When I did technical work some years back, then it was finite element analysis. Okay. But our company and our customers are using kind of the full range of simulation tools within fluid dynamics, structural mechanics, and also in electromechanics and so on.
Perfect. And just to kind of dive a little bit deeper into that customer market, what is the simulation market like in the Nordics, in Norway in particular, and how have you seen those companies, those range of companies adopt or generally moved and shift to accepting cloud?
Yeah, I think the simulation market is quite mature. A lot of the large corporation, they were quite early in using simulation for their product development. So we have some long-term customers that have been using ANSYS software for 30-ish years. So it's quite mature. I think also the cloud market and the cloud adoption is quite mature. Difficult to compare with other markets that I don't know in detail, but we see that a lot of the large corporations have a cloud-first strategy. They kind of explicitly say that we have bought our last cluster that we're going to have on-prem. The future investments are going to be on the cloud.
Yeah, no. So it sounds like these major corporations, they already have this initiative in place. So does it feel like we're at this tipping point where you think companies over the next 2 to 5 years are going to really start shifting these major HPC workloads into the cloud?
Yeah, definitely think we're at the tipping point. As I said, the large corporations, they have this strategy of going cloud first. It will obviously take them some time to fully implement it and roll it out, but they're definitely going in that direction. For the SMB market, I think it's kind of different, because for them it's more like a new opportunity. Suddenly they can get access to this unlimited amount of hardware if they need it, and that opens up a new world of opportunities. But they takes some time for them to adapt to it as well, and really figure out how to utilize it and benefit from it.
Yeah, no, I want to double click into those SMBs, just so our listeners, so they understand what the really big difference is. With the major enterprises, usually there's a long tail or slower shift into cloud, because typically they have a bunch of hardware that they've purchased already, right? That they've made a large investment in, right? And they have either on-premise, maybe they have at a colo facility, or off-premise somewhere, right? And so to just take that, usually a multi-million-dollar investment, and one day throw it away, and then completely shift to cloud, that's something that typically an enterprise wouldn't do. So what they do is they take workloads that usually take up a lot of space, a lot of time, or a lot of resources that they have, and they shift those into the cloud and slowly migrate and depreciate their HPC over time. But with these SMBs, you're seeing most of them don't really have any HPC, right? So for them, it's a lot, I guess, smoother of a shift, would you say?
Yeah, definitely. They typically have a powerful workstation next to their desk that they've been using for simulation. So for them, it's more like understanding and exploring what's possible with the unlimited cloud resources that we have.
Yeah, and the difference between a major cluster on premise and a small workstation is essentially just the availability of compute, right? A small workstation is not going to give you as much power. You're not going to be able to run as large of a job. But with a major compute infrastructure on premise, you can kind of run simulations that you could typically run in the cloud on premise. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's how I see it as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very interesting. So that cloud first approach for these SMBs is almost like not as much of a endeavor, right? They can almost kind of start first and with SMBs, startups and companies that are a lot newer, we're seeing them say, okay, you know what? I don't want to invest in any HPC on premise because we already see this shift in the cloud. Let's just start everything cloud first.
Yeah, that's the case. We see a lot of the startup companies are highly interested in these kind of solutions.
Yeah, and so let's click into the enterprises. Typically, these enterprises, they have this initiative. They want to move some of these workloads in the cloud, and their first approach, usually with all companies, is DIY, right? They want to do it themselves. They think they can do it. You guys had a similar strategy in trying to offer your customers some type of cloud solution. What was your experience in trying to do it yourself, and then why did you guys decide to partner with Rescale?
Yeah, well, at first it seemed like a very reasonable approach with the cloud providers like Microsoft and Amazon making all this hardware available, and us being expert on the simulation software. We thought that we should just connect those two together and create a solution. So we started developing on that. What we kind of quickly realized was that building a solution that is reliable, scalable, secure, and user-friendly, that was kind of a bigger task than we thought initially.
Yeah.
And when we started to look around, started to look into Rescale, we kind of saw that, okay, what we have put up on our roadmap, where we want to be in a number of years, that's where Rescale is today. So then we decided, okay, we definitely don't need to reinvent the wheel. So we decided to partner with you guys instead.
Yeah. No,
and I think it's also about kind of core competence. We're simulations and physics experts, so that's where we should spend our investment and time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't think you could say it any better. And building that standalone HPC environment, you know, Rescale is multi-cloud, and we say that a lot, and I don't think people, it really hits home with people. But if you were to do it yourself, right, like you were saying, into this massive overhaul, going to building all these different deployment tools, security, networking, middleware, all these things are very difficult. And let's say you were able to stand up the standalone simulation environment, you would only have it on one cloud provider, right? And it's not as easy as copy and pasting to every single cloud provider, because each one is different, right? You're gonna do a completely different set of tools, different set of networking. If you go from AWS to Azure to IBM to GCP, and with Rescale, it's almost like it's all bundled in and packaged and ready to go today. And so for you, I'm assuming that was very attractive as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And some of the things that we're trying to build out in our roadmap is developing not only that HPC across all cloud providers, but also to your on-premise infrastructure. And we're also trying to develop more IoT in the cloud, right? So, you know, just to get to where we are would take, you know, we've been doing it since 2011. So building even more capabilities on top of that, exactly like you said, you're getting away from your entire core business, and you're almost starting over from scratch, trying to do something that your core competencies don't align. So what was your experience becoming a reseller partner with Rescale? You guys started partnering with us back in the spring of 2018. Can't believe it's already been that long, because it's a year. It's spring of 2019 now, which means we've been working together for that long. What would you give other potential resellers who might be interested in joining the Rescale Partner Network?
I think the process has been very smooth and moving fast. I think from the first conversation we had until we had a signed first agreement, was just a couple of months. And so I think both EDRMedeso and Rescale are kind of agile and fast-moving companies. So I think our company cultures matched very well. So that was it's been a very good experience. And in terms of advice to other partners, I don't know. We did some due diligence for kind of the different possible partners, and then ended up with Rescale after making the decision quite quickly, because we saw that as the definitely best fit for us. So I mean, my advice to the other possible partners is just to kind of get started on the process and move fast. I think the market is there. I'm working with innovation in our company, and very often when you come up with new technologies and new solutions, you have to push it to the market. You have to go out, do heavy marketing, and convince your customers that this is something that they need and would benefit from. But with cloud, it's more like a pull from the market. We started getting questions if we had something for HPC in the cloud. Actually, more or less even before we started thinking about it ourselves. So when you have a good product, it's easy to take it to market.
Yeah, that sounds very great. It makes me feel like we're doing our job here over at Rescale. Yeah. So let's click into kind of not only your experience, but your customers' experience with Rescale. You guys have onboarded a numerous amount of different customers who are now using Rescale. You know, HPC it's not an easy topic to understand or resell, I would say. You know, what was it like, you know, moving from the ANSYS tools that you're typically selling simulation to now moving into selling HPC in the cloud?
Yeah, it's been, well, we have been kind of touching upon the HPC field for quite a long time, since it's required. It's a required technology to be able to do advanced simulation. So we've been giving advice to our customers, helping them configure their systems and clusters from the software side. But we're definitely not HPC experts. The thing with selling HPC in the cloud through Rescale is that I don't feel like we're really selling HPC. We're just selling an enabling solution, kind of something that enables our customers to do what they need to do.
And would you say in turn, like, how does that benefit your core competencies in return if you're able to now sell this additional solution? Does it help you? Does it benefit you further? Does it restrict you? What would you say?
No, it definitely benefits us further because I've been working with simulations for about 20 years now, and we've always had this hardware restrictions.
Yep.
Both internally in the companies that I've been working for, and also all our customers has the limitations. So we always created this. You have this kind of jobs that you need to solve in an hour, and you have another set of jobs that could solve overnight, and then you have the large jobs that could solve for a week or two. And you have created your simulation models to fit in those kind of categories, limited by the available hardware. With cloud computing, those limitations are removed. So if you need to have an answer in an hour, but you need to have a large model to get the answer, then you can actually do it. And that wasn't an option 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's really opening up a lot of new opportunities for us and our customers.
No, that's great. So I think I have one final question before we log out here. But what is the biggest impact that Rescale has had on your customers and their engineering workflows, would you say?
It's increasing their production, their simulation production, really. The output for the customers that have really embraced the solution, starting to use it, their throughput of simulation is magnitudes higher than it used to be.
Perfect. Well, I want to thank you for your time today and taking the time out of your busy day, I'm sure, to speak with me, do a quick Q&A, and go through all these things. I certainly learned a little bit more about your company, and I hope our viewers, our listeners, learned a little bit about Rescale and as well as EDRMedeso. So appreciate your time today. Have a great rest of your day. I guess it's evening there.
Yeah, it's afternoon. It's 4 o'clock.
Yes.
So yeah, I'll take. It's my pleasure. It's an interesting discussion.
Yeah. Great. And join us next time on our next webinar. Just go to the Rescale website and look at webinars. Have a great day.